Hi, welcome back. Uh, I recently put a name on this vlog and I'm calling it Bubble Up. Seemed appropriate since everything that I focus on is life. Life bubbles up, naturally fermented drinks bubble up, and most of my thoughts bubble up to the surface. Today I wanted to share some thoughts after there's more on my blog today about this, but I've been thinking a lot about, I'm sure we've all been thinking a lot about the situation with our government and how out of control. I can't imagine anybody not agreeing with me that the whole situation is just out of control. Um, I started thinking about how with our today's social media and the access that we have, the ability for us to follow everything that these people are doing, these people that are supposed to be our representatives, they're supposed to be volunteers, they're supposed to be there to help keep things running smoothly and make sure we don't get threatened. They're not there to rule us, and they really have gotten to that point where they're more of a ruling class. I think at first, for the longest time, before we had the internet, before we had the media coverage that we had, those that were in Washington, we just didn't know what they were doing on a day-to-day basis. I guess that can be a really dangerous thing, but we really only got the highlights. Every bit of minutia wasn't so important. I feel like in the days of reality TV, what has happened is the people that are in these positions of power are not only enriching themselves, but they're enjoying a certain status as celebrities. And the more we focus on them, the more we're angry at what they're doing and the injustices that they are carrying out and the attacks on our belief sets and the attacks on our constitution. The more we stare at them, the more we give them attention. My children, when they would have tantrums as toddlers, I didn't give attention to tantrums. I walked away from it. I refused to allow them to get attention for bad behavior. And I think in this day and age, we're giving attention to bad behavior, and it's attention. Just as we give attention to a toddler who's acting poorly, it doesn't matter to them whether it's good attention or bad attention. Attention is attention. So I feel like we've really been staring at these people and watching every little move that they're making, judging it, thinking about it, stewing on it, praising it, attacking other people because we agree with or disagree with what these people are doing. And I've got a friend who lives just outside of DC. The air is thick. You can literally feel the attention and the evil in the air. It's going out to envelop the other states nearby. Carson said last night that it's like the vortex that opens up in Ghostbusters, the last one, where it's just got so much attention and so much energy that it's open and it's letting all of this evil into the world, and eventually it's the way that we shove it back through. Um, I've thought for a really long time that staring at these people that are putting themselves in a position of ruling us, whether you agree with them on a day to day basis, whether you disagree with them, staring at them all the time is not ever going to solve any of our solutions. Government was never intended to solve solutions. It was intended to do just a couple very basic things. And all the powers that were put into place were to limit that government from growing out of control, from becoming this never ending eating monster. So I feel like we need to stop staring at it. We need to stop giving it energy. That doesn't mean that we need to put our head in the sand. It doesn't mean that we ignore what's going on in our world and don't stand up and say something when we see something going wrong. But really, at the end of the day, do we believe that government is the answer to all of our problems? Or do we believe that we are the answers to our problems? The government isn't our boss, our God, our controller, our parent, and we need to stop putting it in that role. Even if you're rebelling, you're putting it in a role of control over yourself. We need to stop giving that power over. I think the best way to do that is to begin to look at our communities. I challenge you today, think about something that is bothering you, something that you see as global, something that is huge, that drives you crazy, makes you scared at night, makes you worry for humanity, makes you worried for our country. Identify what that is, because the truth is all of this media stuff and all of the big government, it's I hate to sound conspiracy theory, but um I guess we probably have a word for that these days. Everybody's accusing everybody else of it. But honestly, choking down these huge ideas and these huge problems, world hunger, world peace, trying to digest those as individuals, it's intentionally overwhelming. You cannot solve it at a global level by yourself. It is physically impossible. And because we know that, we can only control ourselves. You can't force a huge number of people to think like you. You can't force a huge number of people to go along with your plans. The only thing you can do is control you and what you care about and what you're going to do about it. So I challenge you, find something that is at this global level that is bothering you, that is concerning you, and make a change. Do something, but do it neighbor to neighbor. Do it in your community. We can't solve the overarching, big, huge global problems, but we can solve communities. We can solve problems in our communities. We can solve problems for our neighbors. We can take care of our neighbors. We can know our neighbors. We can think about programs in the community that we can design or give energy to or help. I'll give you an example for what we're doing. Because, of course, I'm not going to ask you to do anything that I won't do myself ever. What bothers me in on the macrocosm is the way that we help people with food. We talk about food deserts. We talk about food insecurity, people not able to access good food, not able to, they need to fill their bellies, they need to feed their children. And so we created food pantries, and we've got WIC, and we've got all these governmental programs that are top down, and they are what I would call right-hearted, wrong-headed. I can't even get my own sayings correct today. Right-hearted, wrong-headed. It's it's lovely. It's wonderful to think about those problems and create structures that can help them. The problem is that it's wrong-headed to do them from the top down. They don't really serve people. They just have the good intention of it. And so in the case of food, what I've seen for some time, in speaking with actually a local um, Dutch Mill Greenhouse, a local business here that was raising food, hoping to work with local food pantries. The reality is that the food pantries aren't equipped to be more efficient. They aren't equipped with refrigeration. So donating real food, food that is healthy and nutritionally dense and actually going to enrich people's bodies and lives, we don't have the facilities to do that. And that's because that was never intended to fit a huge model from the top down. It's intended to share fresh produce around neighbor to neighbor and in our communities. So the idea of putting fresh produce into the structures, the governmental structures that we have, it just doesn't work. Because what we have there is processed foods. It really disturbs me from a societal standing, from a self sufficiency standing, and from a health standing, that we are giving the most vulnerable among us, people that are stressed out because they can't pay their bills, they are in a tight spot, they're worried about their kids, they're worried about keeping a roof over their head, and they need help with food. That happens to people We need to be able to provide a hand up in that situation. But the structures that we've kind of relied on and then walked away from can't actually do that, because we hand those people, the people who are most stressed out and the most likely to be unhealthy, we hand them processed food, dead food, non food. That's not going to nourish their bodies. It's going to keep them alive. It's going to make their bodies feel like they had something. But over time, what that does is take a class of people who were struggling and it pushes them down further and further, because now they're sick. Now they can't go to work. Now they have doctor bills. We've got to pay for the doctor bills. They're losing quality of life. They're losing time with their kids. They're not able to feel vibrant and abundant every day, so they can't do the extras. It is cruel. It's cruelty. Right hearted, wrong headed. It's gone the wrong direction. So, since I don't like it, since I'm upset about it, I think the government is wrong. The best thing I can do is solve the problem locally. What can I do? I'm busy. I have a lot of things going, and I can't do everything on my own. And you may be the exact same way. You may think, well, I have a full time job, I have a family, and it's just not practical for me to add. So you have to add in ways that you can absorb and stay healthy. You can't take on the world, you have to take on small bites. So we are starting a community garden here on our property. We just started a volunteer corps that is going to help us produce more food, or sorry, more of our products, ingredients that go into our herbal products. We're going to bring that back online on the farm. I'm really excited about that. Not only is that going to help us produce things more locally, but it's going to teach people what it is to grow medicine, what it is to use it, what it is to be self sufficient with your health. I can have all of those conversations in the fields, and I can teach people while they're getting hands on experience. Super excited about that. But these people are also going to come online and mentor and help with our small community garden. We're going to have community plots that are meant to be a hand up for community members who just are in a tight spot, who are food insecure right now, who could use a stretch of their dollar. And we're going to mentor them and show them these skills, not only to feed them today, not just to get something in their bellies, but to get them more self sufficient going forward and keep them healthy, so that as they go through a tough time, they aren't also paying the price in the long term with their health that they either can't ever recover, or it's going to take so much time, energy, and resources to recover that they may never dig out of the hole. That I can do. I'm not going to depend on some government entity or even a large local organization to do it. I'm going to do it with a group of neighbors and community members around Soda Farm that are interested in doing the same. That's how we solve problems. There's more on the blog and why this is coming up more right now. I hope you go out there and read. I hope you interact with me here, and also on our on the blog. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know, what is it that you're interested in pouring your energy into, because I'll tell you, I'm pledging right now, I'm going to stop giving all of my energy to the people in Washington. They don't deserve it. They're using it inappropriately. I'm aware of what they're doing. I'm going to keep an eye on what they're doing, but I'm going to turn all of my energy and all of my focus on my neighbors and my communities. Because in the end, that's the only thing. If we completely become disrupted in this country, that's the only thing that's going to matter, are those relationships and how we're caring for each other, because the government won't be able to and can't. We have to depend on ourselves, and self sufficiency. If you've done it for very long, or if you're just getting started, I'll tell you a secret. Self sufficiency means being healthy in and of yourself, being able to be whole, being able to stand on your own so that you can be part of the community. Self sufficiency is absolutely part of the community. It requires a community to really work. Self sufficiency isn't selfish. It isn't only focused on self. You'll fail every time. We have to focus on our communities. We have to focus on our neighbors. I challenge you to find that thing that's broken. And instead of worrying about it and being angry about it, fix it. Fix it locally. I'll see you here again on another day.